Chapter 2. The Stranger from Above. Zyact inhaled, and his eyes began to focus. He expected to find himself back in his bedroom on Earth, but instead he found himself sitting in the strange underground room. "I'm still here? What do you intend to create today?" the irregular voice sought as the time passed. Zyact followed his training and listened to the voice, as it urged him to continue to create wishes. Hours became days, days turned into weeks, weeks turned into months, and months soon became years as Zyact stayed within the bizarre area. He had no clue of how much faster time traveled outside of that secluded environment, but he made himself quite comfortable. He proclaimed himself king of the environment. Zyact even made himself his own throne. The whole place was his castle now. Underground became a world of its own, created with mere thoughts. All he had to do was desire anything, and that place would obey his every order and create anything he pleased. All of his wishes became his reality. Zyact was definitely in delight of this world, not knowing it devoured his sense of independence. On the twilight of one late evening, Zyact grew lonelier. He decided to inspect the kingdom for companionship. After all, who was to say another human didn't wind up displaced? Zyact only traveled up to 4 rooms and a long hallway, because he secretly felt afraid to go any farther. Zyact didn't want to lose his power, or run into anything that might overtake him. Yet Zyact, aware enough of his loneliness, took the risk. He was humanoid after all, and longed for social interaction. Zyact lifted himself from the throne and forced himself out the door. He explored through the hallway of the place. The dimly lit halls were haunting him eerily, for Zyact was backtracking to the area in which he first fell through. Zyact silently crept into the darkness. Suddenly, out of the obscurity, a hand reached out and gripped Zyact's shoulder. A booming voice called out, "Hey there, can you help me? I'm lost here, you see." Zyact about jumped to the ceiling, that is, if the place even had a ceiling. "You better kneel to me," he shouted. "I'm the king here," Zyact threatened, when finally the words sunk in. "Oh, you said you needed help. Did this place create a companion?" A figure with dark brown hair came into vision. He had gentle brown eyes, golden brown skin, and a distinct style of circle beard. He bowed down in respect to the king jokingly. "Well, king, I would be honored if you would help me out of here. Wait, does the city know you have a house under their county park? Isn't there restrictions for that?" Zyact paused and listened to the funny questions. He chuckled, then decided the man was created as a result of his wish power. "Of course, you need help, my good servant. You simply need some instructions on what we shall do together." Zyact rubbed his chin. "Well, I have been longing to play a good game of spikeball with someone else besides myself." The man paused. "So if I play this game called spikeball, you'll help me out of here?" "I'm still going to have to report you," the man muttered. He didn't mind having a little break from the hard day of landscaping. "Sure, Zyact waved, dismissing the man's request. The man smiled big. "Great, so, how do you play spikeball?" He held out a hand to shake. "By the way, my name is Samoan." Instead of politely accepting the handshake, Zyact snubbed his nose up and put his delicate hand on his hip. "Come with me and I'll show you." Zyact showed Samoan through the hallway and back to the 4 familiar rooms Zyact adored. On the way, Samoan felt like Zyact was discourteous, sulked, and retaliated by putting his hand up and through his hair. Samoan appeared cool when he moved. It was an old habit he developed at a younger age. "So, is your name King?" Zyact laughed. "No. You should know my name. I'm Zyact." He retracted from Samoan. He remembered people. People were cruel. He couldn't form a bond with people, let alone trust one ever again, right? But this person seemed different. Maybe because it could just be a simulation. Maybe he could let his guard down. "Sorry, I never heard of you before, King Zyact." Samoan trailed behind Zyact. "So what is your kingdom called? Ode to the Underground?" Samoan asked, fiddling with his pockets. "Huh, I never thought about that before. Naming my kingdom, I mean." Zyact showed Samoan to a door. Zyact's hand reached for the doorknob and pushed. Confusingly enough, a bright light shined through the door's crack. Birds singing and the smell of fresh-cut grass filled their senses. As Zyact escorted Samoan inside the room, they felt their bodies become illuminated with light. The room appeared like an outside ball court. Samoan scanned around, astonished. How did you... Is this a room? Are we indoors or outdoors? As Samoan trotted in the bright grass, his western boots clunked. Both, Zyact answered and snickered lightly. Samoan seemed kind-hearted. How unusual. Okay, so this is how you play the game, Zyact began to instruct. Spike ringlets, please. Out of nowhere, the spiked rings enveloped around everyone's fingers. Samoan's eyes widened. Whoa, how'd you do that? Then Samoan spot-checked his hands. You know, these look dangerous. I can make things appear because I'm the king of this domain. Zyact's tone sounded proud. That's the point. Zyact poked the sharp tip at the end of a spike. This game used to be gladiatorial back on my planet. Now listen up, because I'm not going to repeat myself. Samoan nodded. Alright, I'll pipe down with the question. Zyact spent a few hours teaching Samoan all the rules. He taught about pitching the heavy-skinned ball. Zyact continued explaining where the goals lie and how to reel in the points. After the discussion, they found themselves entangled in a competitive game. Woohoo! Guess I win again! Man, what an awesome game! Samoan wiped the sweat off his forehead as he proudly strutted up. So, when will you show me the way out? Zyact sat by the sidelines and caught his breath, enraged. He felt passionate about spikeball, and losing countless times hurt his pride. Zyact bounced up. Not now! I command you to play spikeball by yourself until I tell you to quit. That should be punishment enough for making a fool out of the king's playing skill. Samoan's eyes expanded in surprise, then with a sigh. Seriously? You know, I really had a good time with you. I thought you wanted to play it fair, so if I humor you by doing this, then will you show me out? Do it, I command you, Zyact insisted with distaste. Everything always happened when he demanded it. Would this time be any different? Samoan straightened his back, his face scowled in Zyact's presence. What if I didn't cooperate? What if I sat my butt down right here, Samoan pointed downward, and rested instead? What are you going to do to me, huh? Not show you the way out, Zyact shouted. Within that second, Zyact relived a flashback of his father. Samoan watched Zyact's expression mold as he hesitated, rushed away from Samoan, and headed for the comfort of his throne. Samoan felt guilty for rebelling. Cautiously, Samoan wandered up to Zyact and laid a hand on his shoulder. Then with a gentle voice he spoke. Hey, Zyact, I'll play the field. Alright, no worries. Will that make you happy? Zyact glanced over his shoulder. Yes, I'll watch from the heights of a balcony throne. Just like a flash, the room shifted. The throne room overhung the ball court. Below revealed a great view of the field. With a nod, Samoan trotted back out to the field to play the game by himself. In comedy, Samoan entertained himself by pretending to battle with himself. He pointed a finger at the other side and yelled out, I'll show you! I'm going to win this game. Then when Samoan skedaddled to the opposite side, he shouted, Ha! In your face, self. See that hit? I just blew you out of water. Samoan raised his hands high as if a crowd cheered him on. From time to time he'd peek at Zyact to watch his composure. Zyact could not contain himself. He found the game hilarious. He laughed out loud several times in delight as Samoan felt satisfied with the result. Inside, Samoan felt there was nothing more he wanted to do than keep that delight in Zyact's eyes. Zyact clapped his hands after a few hours and licked his lips. His stomach reminded him it was time for a break. Samoan noticed Zyact absent-mindedly strolled away from the stands and went into his dining room. Samoan collapsed on the field. Hey, wait! He panicked. Where are you going? Samoan swung his hands frantically. I'm starving, Zyact. While Samoan struggled on the court, Zyact enjoyed a bowl of soup at his fancy table. The soup was complemented with a delicious buttered bun. Ah, I'm feeling stuffed. All that was left was dessert now, and that was a plate of purple grapes. A few minutes later, Simone scuffed into the room. "Hey, man, I'm starving and really exhausted." "Oh, good timing, Simone." Zyact stood up and laid on a long chair that appeared in the dining room. He adjusted his designer pillow. "Feed me these grapes, please." Zyact begged a little, then wiggled his tush into the red seat of the royal chair. Famished, Simone proceeded to hold the grape tray. He licked his lips as he pulled one grape off the vine and longed after it. "So, when do I get to eat?" Simone asked while he raised the grape above Zyact's lips. Simone observed a bluish glittering pigment in Zyact's cheeks as he opened his mouth. Zyact's teeth received the morsel. The feeding took 5 minutes before Zyact whined, "Rub my belly now, please, then you can have some grapes." Simone grinned at Zyact's conduct. What a funny guy, Simone thought while he sat the tray down. Zyact laid back for comfort. Understanding, Simone placed his hand on Zyact's torso and rubbed. "How do you like that?" "It feels fine," Zyact replied as he felt his eyelids rest. His lean waist smoothed. Simone continued and rationalized. Maybe Zyact's not so bad after all. Maybe he's just lonely and confined. Simone continued to rub peacefully. Feeling unstressed, Zyact opened his eyes. Zyact sincerely returned Simone's gaze. Zyact gripped Simone's hand. "Thank you, servant. You may have the rest of the grapes." Hesitating for a moment, Simone grunted. Yeah." Simone's focus returned to the grapes. "Hey, Zyact, can I have more than just grapes? I'm a man, and men eat a lot, especially after rough games of self-ball." Zyact giggled a little before he cast out his palm, and upon the table materialized a bowl of noodle soup. "It's my favorite," Zyact mentioned. "My mother used to make it for me." Zyact glanced down before standing up. "Enjoy your meal." Zyact spoke as if Simone needed sustenance. From Zyact's logic, Simone was merely a part of the illusion. "Zyact, wait!" Simone shouted. "Hey, where I come from, people eat and talk together. Would you keep me company?" Zyact shook his head. "As if you're real anyway." "Wait a minute." Simone set the spoon down. "You think I'm not real? What makes you think I'm not real?" Simone seemed more and more alive suddenly. Maybe he wasn't a personified object. Simone did have personality after all. Maybe he was just as real as Zyact. "Simone, by any chance, did you crawl inside a hole under a shrub too?" "Well, not exactly. You see, I was digging away, doing my job, which is landscaping for the county park. I work for the city of North Fork, in which I live. Anyway, suddenly the ground under me gave way and I tumbled down. Then I found myself here. I'm surprised you didn't ask me sooner." "Wait a minute. You said the word hole. Did you mean you're from above ground as well?" Simone picked up his spoon and pointed. He pondered why the king asked. "Isn't Zyact all-powerful? Wouldn't Zyact know where I came from?" Zyact sighed. "I came from above ground, from Arth." "Really? What state is Arth in?" Simone swung his spoon in the air. "State? You mean what planet?" Zyact proclaimed. "Are you telling me Earth is a planet?" Simone never imagined such a thing could really happen. Then again, he couldn't deny Zyact could manifest objects into reality right before his eyes. "Well, I'm from a planet called Earth." "Interesting similarity," Zyact blurted. With a yawn, Simone finished the soup. I guess so. Hey, this soup is really good, Zyact." Zyact nodded gently. "Even if you're not one of my creations in this realm, you are still my servant." Zyact knew he couldn't allow himself to be a victim to anyone else. Not again. Not after he gained his peace. So out of fear, Zyact responded in a cruel manner. He remembered the old treatment he received years ago. "You may sleep on the floor tonight." Zyact waved his hand, and the bowl and table disappeared. Then every other luxury within the room vanished. Zyact swayed his other hand out. Appeared a brown sleeping bag. A white pillow dropped from the ceiling to the floor. Simone huffed. "Hey, for being all-powerful, why can't I have a guest room?" Angrily, Simone kicked the pillow toward the wall. "Don't you think this isn't fair?" Zyact turned his back and lumbered away. Surely Simone wouldn't try to escape. Zyact slid into his bedroom and let the emotion of security wash over him. He cuddled into his bed and hugged a plushie near his pillow. I won't let him hurt me like Jason or those bullies. I'm the boss now. Zyact hugged himself and snuggled to the blankets that seemed to cradle him into the night.